Doing all right. All right. Yeah, I'm sure you heard about the news yesterday about the Queen passing.
Oh yeah. Uh yeah. Well, I mean she was 96, so
Yeah. Well, I think they're swearing in the king today.
yeah, I think did it already happen or not yet?
I might be mistaken. It might actually be happening right now as we speak.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, they're not. They're on a different time than three. I don't know actually. It's a good question. It might have already happened. Yeah.
So stock market is closed, right? The London Stock Exchange is going to be closed, I think, for 10 days now.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah. I think you are right about that. The financial market shut down for 10 days.
Yeah. That's that's pretty big. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best moment for that to happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's everywhere right now. What's interesting is that we're probably not going to see another queen in our lifetime.
Oh, is that the way that the royal bloodline structure is that there wouldn't be another queen in our lifetime, most likely.
It most likely, yeah, because Charles would have to pass, then William, then one of his sons or his first son, and then Charlotte would be the next queen, but she's like nine, I think, or something like that. I don't know. But that's how the structure is set up.
That's very interesting. Any news on the market you saw from today?
Not much. I mean, the European Union, I think Christine Lagarde was the one that announced that they were going to be raising interest rates by
That's right.
75 points.
75 points is going to be the largest interest rate hike in European history.
So they raised it 50, I believe, last month. US raised it, what was it, 0.75 also. I wouldn't, I mean, I know, I think Goldman said that they're expecting 75 as well this month for the US. Um, but I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if they raised it by 1 point.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm really waiting for that moment where we see it raise a point and a half. That's the moment that we know that they know there's no saving it.
Yeah, I'm reading an article right now on that, but I think, yeah, if they raise it a point or above, then the market could go into a shock. There was also the White House report said that crypto mining causes greenhouse gas emissions. I don't know if you saw that.
So is that something they released in their report on Tuesday?
I think so. And I'm not sure if that's part of the executive, what's it called, the executive order that Biden was doing, but I'll put it up on top. It said the White House released a report on the climate and energy implications of crypto assets in the United States. The report covers various topics of importance, including the various effects of crypto mining in the environment. The report highlights that crypto miners should work on minimizing greenhouse gas emissions. It also stated that crypto miners can seek assistance from agencies such as the Department of Energy and the Environmental Protection Agency in order to put their efforts into action.
Basically. Let us know where you are, what you're doing. So when it comes down to it, we know who to charge the electrical bill to.
Dude, yeah, that's what I was about to say. It says, it goes on and it says the White House urges to collect more data on crypto mining. The proposal from the report suggests that the government should collect more statistics and data regarding the power consumption of the cryptocurrency mining industry. The report also stated that if necessary, results are not visible with the implementation of green crypto mining. The industry, including BTC mining, could face a ban.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, if they're gonna create hardship, right? Try and distance the usage of the mining. Right? They're just going to tax it.
Well, they can tax it. I don't think they'll ever ban it, but they can tax it into irrelevancy, which is a possibility.
Exactly.
And I think that's the most likely scenario. So we'll see. But it goes on and it says, should these measures prove ineffective at reducing impacts, the administration should explore executive actions. Congress might consider legislation to limit or eliminate the use of high energy intensity consensus mechanisms for crypto asset mining.
Oh, so basically they'll shut it down.
Yeah, if they don't figure out a way to use less energy.
Oh, wow. By the way, if anybody has any topics they'd like to bring up or speak about today, please feel free to hit the request to open forum. So anything anybody has any questions about.
Also, I don't know if you saw, but Vermont's regulator said yesterday that Celsius misled investors. Surprise, surprise.
I was in a space earlier about this, and somebody had kind of went to the defense of the exchanges. They were like, well, in the end of the day, you can sue them and try and get your assets back. And in most cases, if they had your assets, sure, maybe. But if they are leveraged and if they're over leveraged and they don't even have the assets anymore, you're not getting anything back. They don't because they don't even have them.
Well, they sold most of their assets that was liquid, but I don't see what else they have left. Didn't they sell like something upwards of like 90% of their assets?
Yeah, to pay for their over leveraged positions. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just one big joke.
So is it? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Oh, you, Tony.
Hold on a second.
Oh, all right. Welcome up, Wolf.
Thanks, guys, and hope everyone is having a great Friday.
Good day, relaxing day so far. Welcome 808. I feel like it's been too many days since I've spoken to him.
I was just wondering about. I saw the Apex event when David Schwartz was talking about the AMMs, but if I understand it right, you could put your XRP to stake it or into the pools, and you would receive some token. Do you remember what it was called? That token?
It would be a liquidity pool token. And so basically, the way you could think about it is you give your liquidity to the AMM and it issues you an IOU in a sense, right? Or this representation of your value that is in the pool. And so as you're rewarded in fees for providing that liquidity for the AMM to provide liquidity, right? You are essentially being rewarded in more liquidity pool tokens. And so there's no tax liability until you would claim those liquidity pool tokens for your said assets again, and then you would have that as a realized gain.
Yeah, it sounds sounds cool. Do you think that would be the main place to go for to put your XRP to use?
I think it's going to be very interesting. It's like Flare's this monstrous beast that of all these different protocols, and had the XRP ledger out here for a decade, just doing what it's doing. And it's like 3 amendments come out, and it's like, oh, okay, we could basically do everything anybody else can do, but better. It's just so mind blowing to me.
Right, my guy. That all this is just mind blowing to me. But good morning from my end. Aloha, everybody. Aloha, Dad. Yeah, it feels like it's been a hot minute since I have talked to anybody. I've been out of civilization though. Been in the mountains in the middle of the sea for most of the part.
That's cool, man. Aloha.
Good morning.
Sorry, Dad. Yeah, someone was knocking on my door.
It's all good, Tony. No worry.
But man, to see all these amendments come to fruition now, getting closer to some, and now like he speaks at the apex more about the AMMs and all this, man. It's amazing, all these different bright minds and people out there that's that's building and creating and helping people understand more about these different networks, or especially about the XRPL network and all these different things they can do other than just financial shit. So much stuff that it can do for a lot of people, and I love seeing. That's why I get so wild about technology, man. Like there's so much out there that can do so much stuff, and and we all can benefit from it.
Right. With XLS20, the 20D, right, for 80 to 90% of the use cases for NFTs, right, that'll be fine to use XLS20D on the XRP ledger, and now you're going to get it in a much more I would call it decentralized manner. But on top of it, gas fees, no nominally zero transaction fees, and very quick and reliable.
That's one. I used to have major arguments with my cousin about pricing and what. I know this is not pricing, but I'm just gonna say this: what makes the price move is the use of the network, and when we see more uses and more people coming into the network building, that's when we see the price move. Other than that, like it's wild to see it, because we're gonna see a lot more people come into this place and build more, which we have seen actually within these past few years, um, with all these new projects on here. You know what I mean? More and more people starts talking about it, starts testing it out, starts using it, and then they start to understand it more, and they're like, man, we don't have to all these fees and how easier it is to work on it. And man, yeah, we're gonna see some cool stuff. Can't wait.
How many days do we have left for the XLS thing?
The 13th, September 13th. And so I saw somebody say it earlier on a post. They were like, the Ethereum merge and the XLS 20D has a chance of going like live on the same day.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. I'm for sure gonna be eyes glued to both networks. I want to see how the network's effects of it all as it goes about doing that. It's gonna be crazy to pay attention to certain wallets. you know.
Yeah, very interested to see how the after the Ethereum merge happens, right? Those first couple weeks or months of delegation on the way that it works. See if it seems like it's yeah.
We just had a space with a lot of people. We closed it down to come here with all of you. So if you suddenly see an influx of a lot of people, then yeah, we're gonna take over.
Cool. Invite. I'll invite them up. Get the conversation rolling. What's up, Sauce?
The more the merrier, right?
Hey, what's up?
Whole sausage.
Hey,
Shellfish.
how's it going, guys? I wasn't sure if Karma was going to be on today or not, so
he's on his way back right now, but he's meeting Jeremy Hogan before he goes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see what his experience was and what he has to talk about in Apex.
I know he definitely tried to pick David's mind over the AMM, and David was excited to talk about it, so got a lot of information there at least.
That's awesome. Hey, can you guys hear me? I'm just pulling out a Starbucks.
Yeah, a little hard. Yeah, I mean, you sound a little far away, but yeah, we could hear you for sure.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah, this AMM capability would be crazy to think about if you had an AMM on the XRP ledger, and that it could comply with logic from a federated sidechain. You could essentially even have like liquidity being utilized on the XRP ledger in the AMM that doesn't even exist on the chain, and it could be off chain. As long as you have that representation of information being transferred between the chains to know that there's not like a double spend going on or anything. It's really interesting to think how the XRP ledger is just perfectly suited for like that settlement layer.
Yeah, the federated sidechains are rolling with the hook.
Where could I read more about AMM?
That's a good question.
This particular AMM announcement. Well, you could look it up on GitHub if you wanted to.
Could you pin that to the top of this? Then I'm going to look at GitHub. Is that possible? Because I don't usually delve into GitHub.
Or if you're like trying to look at what we were just talking about, it's like the Apex. You have the two videos from the last couple days.
Where can I see that?
XRPL Foundation, XRP Ledger Foundation. On YouTube.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna do that. Cheers.
Yeah, that'll be good because David goes into it a little bit too, and he starts talking about how the incorporation of federated sidechains could play a role in providing more liquidity for the AMM, and how so. Because the question was like, how is this AMM going to be able to have single-sided pools and liquidity being able to provide it with no chance of having some sort of impairment loss? And it really comes down to the speed and execution time of the ledger and the ability for it to have the built-in DEX. So it has order books to tap into. So essentially, the market maker already has order books to tap into, and so it's crazy to think.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. The DEX being built into the layer 1 protocol makes it's just still to this day makes it still so much different than everything else. Oh, Egyptian, welcome. I sent the invite even if you can't come up. So you go ahead, Crypto Red Eye. Thank you for raising your hand.
For sure. Yeah, I got a question about hooks. Is hooks like made already for use? And then second question was, is it so hooks is like one transaction triggers another, right? And you do up to like 8 transactions. Is there a way to like spider that transaction all at once, like one transaction to 8 transactions all at once instead of one triggering the other?
Well, I mean, so you could think of it like this. Well, the one to trigger 8 transactions is going to all occur in one ledger close, and so it's 2 to 3 seconds, 2 to 5 seconds that all of those 8 transactions would have to occur in, and so that's why they set the limit to like 7 or 8 for the occurrence of how many different things can go off before a ledger close, but that being said, you could attach a hook to a hook to a hook to a hook, which so you had an unlimited amount of strings of transactions that could occur, reoccurring transactions to be set off. And so these transactions, right? They can be any of the functions that are already built into the layer 1 protocol. So if it's mint an NFT, list an NFT, buy the NFT, sell the NFT. So you can you can figure escrow the NFT and then write a check for somebody to buy the NFT. I mean, you figure you could theoretically anything that's built into the layer 1 protocol that could already be done can be accessed with a hook.
Nice. Now, far as each transaction triggering the other, does that transaction have to be signed before it triggers the next one?
You're signing the first one, and so that'll be able to trigger the rest of them. And so I guess it would, if you had a transaction that needed to be signed. I think one of the transactions that would be considered in that hook would be the signature. And so like maybe you set it off for NFT to be created, and then so you need another signature. So that's another transaction on that list of 8. I would figure it would be, but I'm not necessarily sure. It depends on what you're signing for, if it's like on the wallet level or not. Like if you're just granting access or something, you know.
Right, right. I was thinking more of like distributing payments, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So if, in the sense of needing access to create a transaction on the ledger itself, then yeah, you could write that into the hook theoretically. And so
Nice,
there,
nice.
hooks builder, they've been using hooks on the DevNet for a while now. Especially Evernode has hooks and NFTs going all combined with the Evernode platform on the DevNet. But um, they will be, for the most part, hooks. You would build it into a compiler, which there's already like a couple toolkits out there. One that was just showcased at Apex, and so you'd compile your code. You either write it in like C++, Rust, anything that's WASM compatible, and you would end up compiling it into the C++ format, and that would be able to execute on the XRP ledger in the format of a hook.
Nice, nice. So if it's hooks is on the DevNet, it's not really like finalized yet, right?
No, yeah, no, it's not. It's not live. I mean, I think
Like it's still going to be worked on more.
I can't. I'm not 100%. You go double check, see if somebody put a push request in for it to be voted on. But I don't think it's that point yet, and I think there should be still an excessive amount of testing that goes on beforehand. Make sure that there's no bugs, and most importantly, that there's not going to be some sort of ledger bloat and you know too much transactions occurring at once, which is a huge thing that I worry about.
Right, right. Awesome, awesome.
But add in some federated sidechains into the mix. I think hooks can be extremely useful because you could have a string of transactions that occur, and that then interact with another blockchain, which then maybe has another different types of strings of transactions that occur, and then come back to the XOP ledger for just some sort of transactional settlement. And so that makes more sense to me. It's a baseline of what I think the XOP ledger should be used for is like just that settlement layer.
I just wanted to chime in and say, as far as I'm aware, on the dev Discord, they're not expecting hooks to go live anytime soon without a lot more testing, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's safe to say a good like 7 to 9 months. I think would be like a safe estimate where people feel like they're going to be comfortable with it. But if I'm not mistaken, I do think it's already a vote though. Like you could already, if you were a validator, potentially vote for it to be um, updated into the code. But I'm not necessarily 100% sure on that. I got to double check that. Rippleton might know better if you're able to speak.
You need a new version for an amendment to be brought in. So we're still on 193. We would see a new version updated. And there is actually there's two. There's one that's not doing very well, but there is one validator that is running on 1.10, and it's a beta version, and it's all by itself. There were two of them, but the one didn't look like it could sync, or it could actually be the same validator. It just failed the first time and they restarted it. But yeah, there's one of them, 1.10.0-B1, so beta 1. So if an amendment was going to come out, we would have an update first, because any amendment is actually already in the software. When you go to vote, it's just disabled, and then the vote is what enables that feature.
Yeah, the short morning, guys. Rippleton here. Short answer to the amendment status of hooks. It's there's nothing in the pipeline currently. It's still well in the development mode.
Yeah, safe to say. And Evernode especially, right? Evernode doesn't plan on launching either until we have hooks, because they're going to be utilizing both of the hooks and the XLS 20D standard.
I think there would be a lot of security flaws, or I don't know, potential for issues. If it would be irresponsible to push it out that quickly, I think.
I think also from the standpoint of we have XLS 20D coming. I think we're gonna have to sit back and really see how the ledger takes that and all of the hardware and everything that people are running, how everybody feels about that first, and then before we say yay to hooks. I think that's a big thing too.
Totally.
You
Got
right there.
it done right.
Yeah, currently there's a pull request in for XLS 30, which is the market maker, and the AMM, and that's the current pull request with regard the ongoing development. So it goes through the pull request, then discussion, testing, blah 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 blah, before it gets to an amendment status and amendments to the code. Then the code comes out in an amendment. So you can always follow this, because if you go to the Git, it defines each of the amendments that's included in the next version. So 1.1.0 is the next. And so just on a historical basis, every version that comes out, as soon as an amendment is released, our new version of Rippled is released, the next version becomes the next RC, so to speak. And that's where Nick is usually the one, or one of the engineers at Rippled are always running the next version up. So it's pretty easy to follow. And this comes back down to the amendments, where in the past we've discussed that even though an amendment hasn't become part of the Rippled code, you can still vote for it if you know the amendment number. So they generate the amendment code, and they create a number for it, and then you can add that into your Rippled instance and vote for it before it's even amended to the code. So yeah, it's just a bit of horse before the cart, but it can be done. But everything's visible. Absolutely everything is visible in the Rippled Git, so you can understand then what the next versions and what the next codes are. And often, if you go to known amendments page on the xrpl.org site, it will give you an indication of what the current amendments are coming up, and you can get the info from there. But if you've got a second, I'll just read out something that Richard Holland, who's the guy behind Hooks, he's the main developer of the Hooks part of the XRP ledger. If you've got a minute, I'll read it out to you. Is that all right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. So this was dated back in August the 19th, and it's in an area that we discuss a lot of things. But he wrote here, there's lots to like about the EVM and lots to dislike as well, and about the tooling too. But there is plenty of space in the blockchain space for multiple chains and multiple ways of doing things. For some things, EVM is much better suited. Excuse me. Where am I? Sorry. I might have actually been reading the wrong thing here. He writes so much stuff. Hey, look, let me find the right thing that I'm reading, and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
Sweet.
I always like to hear what Richard says too, because he is just a brilliant man. But while we wait, Future Numbus, you have your hand raised, man. If you'd like to ask a question, please go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Death? Hey, just a quick question, and I don't know if it'll be a ignorant one, but you know how Flare Networks has smart contracts? Is that a way for when that hooks up with XRP? Is that a way, since the smart contracts on Flare Networks those are similar to hooks, right? Because hooks are smart contract capability. Is that a way to kind of test, or not at all?
I wouldn't say it's a kind of way to test, but you could think of it this way. A smart contract, an EVM smart contract, has a lot of different smart contract logic capabilities, where hooks, it just takes a piece of what maybe smart contract logics can do, but it's not everything. And so I don't really want to call hooks smart contracts because they're not, because, right, we're really just being able to set off a string of transactions of existing functions that already exist on the ledger itself. But could you have, if you had like a federator that could read information from both sources or states of the blockchain, then yeah, you could have. I think of Flare as like a side chain all the time to the XRP ledger, where you could be able to have some sort of communication between the two. So yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a thing.
Okay, so I am going to read. I'll continue what I was reading because it was the right paragraph. So I'll just start again very quickly. There's lots to like about the EVM and lots to dislike as well, and about tooling also. But there's plenty of space in the blockchain space for multiple chains and multiple ways of doing things. For some things, EVM is much better suited. For other things, hooks or another solution is better. Hooks is a hybrid smart contract system where between 0 and 4 contracts live on a user account. That is quite a different thing to EVM contracts, which are an account of their own and can't be installed on a user account. Hooks are asynchronous and can't be used for things like flash loans. They're not very well suited for DeFi, which generally requires access to synchronous contract-to-contract calls, something Hooks does not support. In a sense, the comparison is apples and oranges. I think if people want to do DeFi, they should use an EVM sidechain. This way, they don't need to rewrite all the contracts. They can import existing Solidity, and they have synchronous calls. For all the other contract stuff you might want to do, try hooks and see if it works for you. We think the feature is set more or less complementary with EVM. So one of the interesting things there was, the discussion around DeFi, because I've heard a lot of people in the past talk about DeFi in association with hooks, but clearly hooks is not a DeFi product.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're really, like somebody made a good example the other day with smart contracts. They were like, if you have two NFTs and you're going to want these NFTs to be able to mate and create a different NFT, right? They were like, well, you're going to need like an EVM smart contract for that, like a hook. And Nextls 20 is not going to be able to do that because we really have just taken like the basic features of what capabilities of what like a smart contract can do, right? Setting off multiple chains of transactions, and then the basic features of what an NFT is, and we've utilized this in a very sleek. I love. I mean, I personally think it's much smarter the way that they've that we have the execution of validation on the blockchain of what we're trying to achieve. But yeah, two different things.
If I may add, Rupert, you sound really good, like full HD 4K. No comparison. You probably changed something on your end.
Sorry, what was that, mate?
I said your sound is very good. Like it's different than usual. You probably
yeah. So it's interesting. So this is my normal voice.
Yeah, I assume so.
My other voice that I've had has been a steroid voice. So I've been taking a new inhalant for my asthma, and it killed my vocal cords to the point where I literally couldn't speak.
Oh, wow.
I'd get 4 or 5 words out in a breath, and then my voice would disappear completely. So I've had to stop it, and so this is the real me.
That's so funny. I was gonna ask if you were sick when there was a lull in the moment. I was gonna ask if you were feeling well or okay and inquire about your health. And thank you for informing us. You have a beautiful voice, though.
Ironically, I do actually have a bit of sinus problems. I've got man flu, but the world's sympathising with the Queen. Yes, I can't advertise the fact and grab some sympathy. But yeah, no, this is the real me. My voice is. I stopped taking it 3 or 4 days ago, and it's recovered really well. So yeah, which is fucking great because I sounded like fucking weed.
Or
You definitely have a deeper voice, I feel like.
Yeah, it's look. I never realised just how much a steroid. So the Brio inhalant, which I was using as a powder, and as most people would know, your vocal cords are basically always open without talking, and what they do is they close up when you speak, and that creates your voice. But with the steroid, it affects them. The powder hits them and it sits and it literally burns them and they become swollen. And yeah, it's a fucking horrible thing. So they can jam that up their ass in the future. Won't be using that. And over 30% of people who use it have reported the problem. But you live where you speak. It's your choice.
I'm glad you're good now.
Yeah, mate. I'm good. Thank you.
Something very interesting from the what was it? The keynote presentation regarding the AMM is that they're like pretty certain that they want to have it on a side chain and not on the main chain, because else the payment functions or functionalities would be affected. So this is pretty interesting because this is something I guess a lot of people wanted also to have for NFTs. I guess like to have them on a side chain. Now we have them on the main chain, which is interesting. Maybe they want to do it. Probably AMMs are more resource intensive. I don't know about this, but would be interesting to see this.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really looked into the AMM at all. Every time somebody asks me, will it have the same effect on the ledger as Matt Hamilton's bot did? And I think, holy fuck, you people have been sucked in. Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to more equitably distribute what happens with that bot, because right now through pathfinding it just kind of gets, some of the liquidity just gets sucked up.
What was that, Bex?
Well, the AMM is supposed to equalize some of that offset distribution of running those bots with these liquidity pools for the participants and whatnot. And then it's kind of like little mini DAOs, I guess. And that's kind of how I looked at it. It was like these kind of side liquidity DAO pools where the participants, the largest like stakeholders, would be able to kind of decide the fees of the bot, that the way that market maker was set up. I think that's the way I somewhat understood it, but I also didn't look that deeply into it either. But I know how Dexter worked because I have a fork of that myself, but it was not nearly as complex as what this is, I feel like.
I expect personally a lot, like obviously way more liquidity for basically every coin or token, because there's an incentive to put liquidity up there, so you don't end up with tokens that have like almost no liquidity, and you can basically manipulate them all over the place. They're gonna be interesting, and probably also a huge incentive because volatility is what makes a difference there for the arbitrageurs and liquidity providers.
Interesting thing, right? So say we have AMM is introduced into the XRP ledger, and there's some sort of sidechain interoperability. Throw a little bit of AI into that mix, and is the XRP ledger not like a true DAO at that point, like a decentralized autonomous organization, or is that? I guess that's maybe just me that's thinking that.
Not if GPT-3 controls it. Then what is it? Yeah, then that's something real crazy. I don't know. It's gonna get weird though, because I like with hooks and all that. I mean, yeah, I could hook it up to GPT-3 myself. But I don't know what like. Oh my gosh, there's so much you could do with that. But I don't. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Hey, you can keep going. Hey, Karma.
Hey, Karma, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm driving, so I'm just gonna leave the mic on because I don't want to be staring at my phone.
How was meeting Jeremy Hogan?
It was very nice. I actually explained, well, at least in brief, karma coverage to him, and he really liked it. He, he's in the some insurance work as well, and he sees the pain that the insurance companies cause by dodging their responsibilities. And I mean, karma coverage is designed to allow individuals and their friends to, I mean, it's just like real life. Like if something happens at your church, your family, or your work, people, and somebody needs help, like generally people will chip in, and it just formalizes all of that. And especially in the home policies down here, what they've done is, I mean, it's almost criminal. It's not, it's law, but just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. So yeah, he gets it. He's nice. He might come on one day.
Great to hear your voice, at least, man. You really scared the shit out of me when I read that you went to a hospital. I was like, "What the fuck happened there?" Good to hear that you're okay, man.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
I didn't let him. I don't know what happened. I just, and then all of a sudden, there's like paramedics asking me who the president was. And I was like, what? And then they took me to the hospital, and they started to want to do a bunch of scans and stuff. And I was like, no. And I started pulling the shit off, and I was like, I'm getting out of here. I'm fine. And they were like, well, how many times has this happened before? And I'm like, none. Get this shit off of me. I'm leaving. Like, I don't know what happened, but I'm out of here. Anyway, but
I've had seizures before. It sounds like you might have had one, like you fainted or had something like that happen, and you kind of like dazed and out of it. Because before you have a big one, you kind of have these like aphasia moments, and so where you don't really remember what happened, but then you feel fine afterwards.
The Ripple guy came up. They were super nice, way above and beyond, and they brought me some food and some water. I was dehydrated, and because I basically didn't eat the night before. Then we drank and partied. Then I didn't really eat much but some fruit in the morning, and I felt a little off. But anyway, the guy said that I just like was like Brad, and I like fell over, and like I was back up in like 40 seconds, but I don't know.
Well, anyway, glad that you're back and that you're healthy, and actually that you're here on the spaces, because I know multiple people, and me included, we really like to hear what happened and what kind of knowledge bombs you can drop on us. So I hope you get some energy left.
Well, I'm not going to go into the AMM stuff on the road because I'm going to I talked to AMM. I talked to David about the AMM, and he finally explained some of the market dynamics in a way that I could understand better than just reading the math.
That's cool.
So maybe tomorrow we can go over that.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Oh yeah, it's really cool. There's so much going on. I don't know how I didn't know about some of these things. There's like one-way trust lines that use less data payload on the ledger. What was the other? There was a bunch of things. It's almost too much. I'm like brain fried. I've been traveling all day. I'm still traveling.
Yeah, I get that, but thanks at least for taking your taking the time to do this, man. Awesome. Look forward to it.
Yeah, and I talked to several other project operators, and I think we've got. I probably should have kept the list of that. See, as I told you, I sucked at this kind of thing, like keeping lists and stuff. Um, but I connected with I was connected with most of them anyway. But so we'll probably have some good Wednesday focus chats over the next little bit of time.
Ask those people that you did connect for the other connections. And next time bring your wife. She's making the list, right?
She wouldn't understand, and this is all Greek to her. She thinks it's fake internet money. I'm like Lindsay, this is changing the world type of thing, and she just looks at me like, uh-huh. Like, yeah, uh-huh, that's right, it is. But I didn't mean to interrupt what you guys were talking about, saying hi, and let you know I'm driving. So if you hear background noise, I apologize. And I hit rush hour. Damn.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely that moment. I mean, it's 4 o'clock. Although you got back from Vegas to Florida pretty quick, though. So
well, I thought I was going to talk to Jeremy for like 15 minutes, but I think we talked for like 45. So he's a nice guy. I liked him. He's got a nice office.
He's from Florida too, isn't he?
Yeah, he actually just lives about 5 miles from my buddy's house where I parked my car while I was in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, I had like a Zoom call with him one time. He was super rad. But yeah, he was telling me about living in Florida, if I recall.
And I can't, I'm not looking at the phone, especially now in rush hour, but so I can't really tell who's talking. So sorry.
Right.
I do not miss this about living in Orlando. What were you guys saying? Something about hooks and AMMs? I caught a tail end of it.
yeah, we went over the IMM amendment a little bit, and then we went over the hooks functions features and some of the logic behind the difference between a hook and an actual smart contract. But Crypto Red Eye, you were raising your hand there for a second. But do you have any more questions? And also, if anybody in the audience, if you guys have any questions about anything that's been talked about or any subject matter that you'd like to bring up, please feel free to hit the request, come up and come hang out and speak with us. You there, Red Eye?
That's all I got for now. For what I talked about earlier. Yeah, well, ultimately, I'm trying to solve like a royalty distribution issue. So, like, let's say there's a 10% royalty, and the product is $1,000 now. 10% of that being $100. Let's say go into like an escrow for a month, and at the first of each month, that 10% gets distributed 4 ways.
You could do that with a hook and a combo between a hook and an escrow, and then you'd have to release the escrow to a second sort of what's the real world term for that?
Well, I'm not necessarily sure on that though, because right, so if it was a set amount, maybe, but if you're talking about percentages wise, so say like there was 4 people who were supposed to get paid out from the royalty that gets sold by an NFT. Now it would only go to one wallet, right? And so you'd have to make it so that there 25%. I guess that would be able to be sent out to each of the 4 other wallets. And so yes, the hook could execute the transaction to 4 different wallets, but how do you make it so that there's an exact, like, it knows the 25%? It's interesting. I don't know. Actually, if that would necessarily be able to work. Now, I know you could have the hook. You could have the wallet. Like in a multi-sig setting, you could have it that the funds go to a wallet that's owned by a multi-sig of multiple participants, and so nobody can at least steal it, and so that it's safe. If everybody has to agree on the signature of a transaction beforehand. But yeah, and I'm sorry to ask Karma if you could just I'll maybe mute when you're not talking, man. It's just a little, the feedback is bad.
I'm sorry, I can't. I'm in like heavy traffic. I can't be looking at my phone. I'll hit somebody.
It's if you want to, yeah, I'll mute it for you. You could just unmute whenever you can.
Can unmute. You can't. I don't know if you can still hear me or not.
Whoops. All right, sorry about that. Did that?
Yeah. You did it.
Damn death.
I had
savage mode.
Sorry. No, I sent the invite right back. But who asked that? It was Red Eye, right? Crypto Red Eye? About the royalty?
Yeah. Like if you could have all the transactions, the 10% of the transactions go into an escrow, right, throughout the month, and then at the end of the month, that gets distributed to 4 different people. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Vet. You might know. Oh, you unmuted. You were on it. Thank you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would say what I would have done is basically what you have said. I would place a hook on the account that is the issuer account of the NFT, and every royalty that comes in, gets sent to 4 different people. Just divide by 4 or whatever. I'm pretty sure you can do that. And then you distribute it over there, and it's automatic as well. Would be good if the issuer account would be also a multi-sig, because then no one can change stuff or whatever. And then you can do it. I mean, you can do multi-sig already. I don't know how user-friendly it is, really. I think it is not really user-friendly. Zumpro will have it at some point, I think, to easily set it up. Because I know I was trying to do it with Zum and what is a toolkit, like from the UI, and it's very difficult if you would need to do it with code, but this is not user friendly. But yeah, the issuer wallet as a multi-sig and a hook on it, I think, is the best solution for it.
That's cool. So you can do it like Karma said. Then you can split it up percentage wise.
Yeah, you can split it up percentage wise.
That's cool. Go ahead, Wolf.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just I can't believe we have the XLS 20 next week. But do you guys think that we can have like a domain NFTs like next week, from next week on also? Because I think that will be pretty interesting, because then you can, as I had understood, use it like a username in the Xzoom and things like that.
You mean domain? Like a domain?
Yeah, somebody
domains.
build functionality for it, but yeah, I don't see why not, right?
Chris, when TLD?
I was actually working on that. I have it pulled up on my computer right now. I bought Becky.xrp and I was like working it all out. But the issue was that it won't, it's kind of like how browsers don't really support that just naturally, so it wouldn't be, you have to like appeal to get it to a top level domain and do all this other stuff. So it's definitely something I've looked into, but it's very complex to do it. But if anybody wants to do it with me, I already got started, so.
Your other option on the XRPL is something developed by RippleX. You can set up your own paystring server, and then you can do BitHomp already does this, and Zum has plans for it. Like I've got I think 5 or 6 domains on there, but it like big CJAT, money sign, bithomp.com. You can type that into anything, and you can even type that into my Emojier site or Zum or XRP scan, and it resolves on its own. And that anybody can set up a server to go and do that with any of their domains. So if you just come up with a unique domain that people would want to use, then you can set up a site that they can set up usernames for it. Whether you charge or not is up to you. BitHomp, I think they were charging 10 XRP. I think they still do. And then I think anybody with Zum Pro is going to end up getting it as well.
Nice.
I'm excited. I don't see enough of when Zum Pros.
True.
Right. Well, because it doesn't have much on it right now. Like I have it
right
because
now.
I got those Gym cards like a while ago, and then it just was like, oh, you're a part of this, and I was like, cool. But there's not really much going on there as far as I can tell so far. I'm excited for whatever they're gonna release.
I think he did a demo that should have played at Apex of the new Zum Pro. I think it might have been called Pro 3. I don't know what the versioning is on it, but the new Pro was shown somewhere.
Yeah, sweet. I can't wait for the real Pro. Do you think, did they say anything about when it will be released? Is it around the corner?
No, we say no. It's rule number 1. Never give a release date on code.
Next week.
Nice.
Nice bet.
If you look at all the roles that Weezy plays, I don't know how he does it. Like there has to be more than one, because to do all that he does is just insane.
Elephant, welcome up. We have 2 elephants in the room. But go ahead and speak.
Hi guys, how are you? You good?
Hey man.
Good? I hope you are good.
Yes, very good. Very good today.
Okay, can I first of all like sing a little song, a 30-second song in Arabic for you guys, if you don't mind?
I'm probably gonna have to say no on that one because this is not the space for that.
No, man.
Oh,
Why?
come on. It's your song.
Come on, man.
Is it a technical song?
No, it's like a song about love and life and happiness.
Well, Bex wants to listen to it, so we'll give you the 30 seconds. Stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. نقابل ناس نفارق ناس وماشية الحياة عادي، حال الدنيا دي بتغير ما بين الثانية والتانية، هنعمل ايه؟ وده جارح وده مجروح وده عايش على الماضي، وأحلامنا دي بتغير، ولو نرضى تحلالنا بنزعل ليه؟ ومين الدنيا دايما له، محدش ضامن الأيام، يا بخت اللي يردف حاله وفرق بين حلال وحرام، سؤال وإجابته عارفينها، مادام سايبينها واخدين ايه؟ مادام سايبينها بنتضايق ونزعل ليه؟ Thank you guys. So before I end this and I leave the space, just a second. I want to say I wanted to talk about my project. It is not an NFT project, but I wanted to talk about it anyways. So I don't have time. So if any of you are interested in what I am doing, just give me a follow, give me a like, give me something. If you are interested in what I am doing, give me a message or something, and I will give you all the information about what I'm going to do. And sorry for my English because it's not very good. And thank you so much. I hope you like my voice. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing life for everybody. Thank you so much.
Well,
The guy's got balls. What can I say?
I enjoyed it.
Thank
Egyptian, you didn't say
I
anything.
enjoyed it. I was wondering what the lyrics were,
His
though.
accent was kind of like Egyptian when he sang in Arabic, but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
his
yeah.
accent in English, his
It is
accent in
an
English is
Egyptian.
not Egyptian.
It is Egyptian. It is an Arabic, but in Egyptian like accent. Yeah.
Accent, all right?
And
But
you
you are
are
not
Egyptian,
Egyptian. Are you
but not
Suri?
what?
You are not Egyptian, all right?
No, no, no. I'm Palestinian.
Palestinian, okay. Best
Yeah.
people. Palestinian is the best people.
Thank you so much, man. You are the best people. Egyptians, مصر أم الدنيا على راس يا باشا. بنحبكم قوي. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, man.
Good night, everybody.
so
Thank
good.
you.
Cheers, bro.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad I took your suggestion, Bex.
You know, you never know what might happen when somebody offers to sing for you, and how often does that happen? So, gotta go with the flow on those sometimes.
Was he singing for you or for the space?
That's the question. That's the
Walk
question.
through the
Well,
street.
no, I
in
mean for
New York City.
everybody. Yeah, I just meant in general too. Like, I
It
don't get
sounded
offered that.
it sounded like he was singing for you, which is okay. That's fine. That's really sweet. You know.
Yes, I was.
Yep. Here we go.
Oh crud! I'm sorry. I thought he was done. I removed him to bring somebody else up. I'm sorry about that, Elephant. I'll bring you back up in a minute. Just had another request. But yeah, Bex, you know, if you walk through the cities of like or the streets of cities like New York City, I mean, you see all the cultural stuff going on. It's very interesting. Like street performances and stuff are always happening.
That's true. There are some areas here where there's some cool street performance stuff, but yeah, for sure, I feel you. Big cities have that vibe too.
Des, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead, man, and then we'll and then Dot checks our PL, and then Alex, if you'd like.
Yeah. When is the distribution of Flare?
So it should be either this month or next month, but you figure 8 weeks is what they said, a minimum of 8 weeks, and so network went live on the 11th, so we still got a couple days for then, but you figure hopefully they'll release news about it like a week or so beforehand. But the next up, you can.
I'm pretty sure it's all the news. Sorry for asking, but I've been kind of disconnected for like a little bit, so I just don't know anything.
If you
we were wondering where you were, man.
I've been watching football. Football started, so I kind of disappear when football starts, you know. So
it's all right. We're here. September is going to be a busy month with all of the different things: XLS 20, Flare, Ethereum 2.0, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, you could already connect. Like if you have Bifrost, you just update the app. You're already connected to Flare network. If you have MetaMask, the
I've seen that. I've seen a tweet about updating Bifrost for the Flare. Do I need what do I need to do? Like, is it a simple step or?
Yeah, just update your phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Or update the app on the phone.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I don't wanna keep asking questions, so I'm gonna shut up.
No, you're good. You're good. The space is for questions. So if you have any questions, if somebody else is.
Actually, let me throw another suggestion. Sorry, I'm in stopped traffic now. That's yay. But on the split the payment, the escrow release 4 ways, have it dump into a designated splitting wallet. And I think you can stack several hooks in the same wallet. So you could have hook 1 take a quarter and send it. Then once hook 1 executes, that'll trigger hook 2. It'll send a quarter. Then hook, trigger and trigger. And those hooks can send to 4 different accounts.
Yeah, 4 is the maximum you can have on 4 hooks per account. That's the max.
What's that?
For 4 hooks per count. Okay.
4 hooks per account. That's your max.
Yeah, and see that makes a lot more sense than the 8 to me, because if they all have to initiate before a ledger close, I was like 8 of them is a lot to get in before a ledger close. But 4 makes a lot more sense. Oh, Dutch XRPL, if you'd like, go ahead.
Yeah. It's, thanks, guys. It's nice to hear the song, and it's nice to hear Egypt and Palestine are involved in the XRPL community. So, guys, just talking about Flare Token and the airdrop. Many of us weren't into Cold War storage wallets at that time. 2 years ago, we had centralized exchange addresses, and we forwarded them for the Flare drop. Since then, Bittrex has been a right pain in the ass, and they've kind of started to do stuff to get people out of the system. Now, what I got an email from Bittrex in that time, which was to an email I never really check, and I missed the deadline for this identity documents. They wanted further identity documents regarding where my funds were coming from. So I missed that date. So anyway, they closed my bloody account. Now my 50,000 Flare, which is supposed to be coming into my bloody Bittrex account, I have no idea if it's going to be dropped to that 15% first drop, because my account's been closed. But the thing is, my wallet's still open. Like my coins are still there, which coins were there anyway, hanging about. But the thing is, I think Bittrex and these centralized exchanges are taking the piss. When they see somebody's got like a serious amount of Flare coming to them, they send them some stupid email saying that we want this document off you, that document off you, and then if you don't provide it to the deadline, then they bloody close your account. Now, what legal grounds have I got to get that bloody Flare airdrop? Because I've done no wrong.
So the problem is trying to get that initial 15% is really, you'd have to take them to court, right, and then prove beyond reasonable doubt that it's yours and they're holding it. I would say this though: the proposal that's being put out benefits you a lot in this circumstance, in the manner of you're really only losing your initial 15% now, and so you said, okay, well, I want to still participate in the ecosystem, and you went out and you purchased, say, the exact same amount, that initial whatever 15% you were going to get up. Well, so if you wrap that and delegate it, your 85% that they were going to get, that they were going to have to give to you, right, will go into the pool for everyone to collect from, and so you could still collect from that pool. And so forget them getting the rest of your 85%. That will go into a pool which, if you participate in the ecosystem, you will collect from. And so still have the chance to participate in the ecosystem, even if they hold your tokens, and if not, earn more tokens than you would have initially anyway. So just in case. But yeah, I agree, man. It's really not, and this is that the reason for this proposal is because these exchanges are not trustworthy. But Alex, if you'd like, man, you've had your hand up for a little bit, and then Chris.
Yeah, man. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back, Egyptian. Haven't seen you in here for a long time. Death Karma, I was just putting the question out there. Since when have we been able to do songs on here? Because I've got so many numbers I want to be able to sing for you guys right now. So many numbers. But I think I'll save that for another day, eh?
We'll hold a focus topic Wednesday, where it's just it's singing Wednesday. Everybody who could wants.
It's best called the XRB has a talent, and we can be the judges, and that would be awesome. Yeah.
There you go.
I think it'd be healthy for the space. It'll be able to let everyone's hair down as well. So maybe we do a bit of a karaoke day one time, whether it be on ledgerscale or something else. Probably not recorded would be probably the best situation for a lot of the players in the room.
I like it too. And listen, Too Cold, she's here, and she's always hosting music oriented spaces as well. There's a lot of singing and music that goes on. So definitely to follow her if you'd like to participate in that stuff. I know I don't know if there's a particular day that they do karaoke, but I'm sure that could get started.
But also what we can do this is when we sing, we can transfer it to NFT on the XRB ledger, and we can sell it. And here we go. It's I'll start a new project. Yeah.
As long as it's not too large of a metadata file, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I have good imagination.
Yeah. What's the limit, Vet? Do you know about the
when you guys say the IPFS, is that any IPFS or certain one exactly?
There's only one IPFS.
No,
Right.
look, like okay, there is what's called what does it call? 1 second, let me check it. There is a token called what?
Filecoin.
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 Like,
Is it or IPFS?
It has something to do with it, yeah.
yeah, it's a separate storage, object oriented storage system using, I believe, like EVM protocols.
Correct.
And then IPFS could point to that too, I think. But I'm not sure. I haven't looked that fully into exactly how they could intersect. But IPFS is its own node network of storage. That's why I said if it tells you on the website how to spin up a node and just put whatever you want out there into the web, but then it's public. So then there's services that'll do this for you, where it's more of a user interface friendly to consumers, and a lot of them will offer storage for free initially, like a few gigabytes of storage, and then you pay for them to pin it for you. And basically what they're doing is running nodes that pin it to the system for you. And then some of those will allow you to do kind of private file storage, encrypted storage. You can build an API from that pretty easily and stuff like that. So they make it a little easier on the user interface. But anybody can go to IPFS, I think .org, and go learn how to spin up a node and put as large and as much files as you want out there, decentralized.
So the NFT protocol on the XRP ledger, it should be approved. It was already approved, but should be in production next week. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, and just a question here, uh, like how fast do you think people will do NFT on the XRP ledger when it actually get in production?
You can do it right away. Like
Right.
when it gets enabled, you can immediately start doing it. But depending on how many people will do it, we may see different outcomes. Like I don't know what's gonna really happen. Like if we see like at the second or the minute it gets enabled and people spreading the news, and you have like 200,000, 500,000 people minting on the public network, like not using their own network, yeah, then it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay. However, I don't see a lot of like usually in my timeline. I used to see a lot of NFT posts. I see lower and lower NFT posts right now. I think it's the best time to actually launch something like that. It's the bear market,
To be honest, this is what I was also saying when people said, "Yeah, but couldn't it be like?" I mean, it will have more load on the network. That's for sure. We saw this also with the report of the benchmark by Nick Bougalis for XS20. Although it's pretty synthetic, but still, it is a benchmark. And what the validators from the UNL, like Rippleton, were saying, that it puts more load, but it's still like in a manageable frame. But also in the fact that we are kind of in a market condition that is not so like exciting and furious and like in this raging bull market. I think this helps definitely not to put too much load on the network. Like if we would have XS20 last year at October, November, at the same time where this trust line frenzy was going on, then I would say, yeah, that will be, hard.
Yeah.
100%. But maybe Rippleton knows more. Rippleton, what do you think?
No, I think it's the best time right now where actually the NFT market is not going crazy. So people can take their time, even try to see what's like what's the pros and what's the cons and doing it in XRP ledger. So if there's things need to be fixed, it would be better to do it now in the bear market, you know?
This is personally what I hope that people will see with NFTs on the XRPL. The huge benefits of it. Not only because of fast payment, like fast transactions, low fees, the obvious ones, but also like all the unique properties that you create objects not with a smart contract but with these smart transactors, which is a transaction. You cast it and you create these objects, and very, very quickly and cheaply and easy, actually. Like if you do this, it's very easy compared to a smart contract. So safety is there, security is there, and you use the DEX. You use a lot of layer one features. It's interoperable with everything else on the ledger, like on the DEX. You don't have to write your own custom connectors or something to interpret the object to something else. So this is a huge benefit. I hope this will get more attention, definitely from all over the community, also, and from the Ethereum NFT community, and for everyone else who likes to do that stuff.
Can I ask a question about the Ethereum, or and I'm pretty sure it's kind of late question, but after the merge, what's going to happen to the fees, the fees and the speed of the network on Ethereum?
Well, the speed should pick up a little bit, but the fees are the same. If not, they'll be worse. If anything, if there's
that's also what I heard. Yeah.
If there's congestion.
But why? Why would it be the same? Because I thought most of the fees going to the miners.
Yeah, and now most of the fees will be going to the people who are staking or staking their 32 ETH to provide security to the node consensus structure, and so they're getting paid out in fees, and so that's same exact concept.
I think the staking is 6%. Is that correct?
I'm not sure what the percentage is, but yeah, that's where the fees are being paid out, and so the incentive is still there to have large fees, especially if there's a lot of volume. It's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, Egyptian, you have also to realize it's not the merge, right? People think it's the merge, right? But it's a transition, a slow transition. So it's just one part of a lot of other merges, that needs to, steps that needs to happen for sure. So this is why it's not the final transition, so to speak. It's just one, step by step. It's not the merge, so you will hear merge probably 10 times before it's really the merge.
Basically, Ethereum is gonna milk the merge 10 times, like they always do.
You have said that.
Yeah, marketing term. We're gonna hear it so many times. Okay, I see. They always do that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's indeed like a very, very big transition. Like an ecosystem at the size of Ethereum, with all these multi-billion projects on it, and to transition, and with so many users, you got to be careful, right? You cannot just flip switch and test out. Oh, if it breaks, no worries, let's wind back, whatever.
What? Did you cannot flip the switch? So David cannot flip the switch? Are you saying that?
I say that, yeah. Whoever said that David can flip any switches.
What switch will he be flipping?
Yeah, this is what this.
No, he knows the XRP community about flipping the switch.
Yeah, I know.
But we see this also more. Like I'm happy that more people start asking people like Nick Bogales or all these net infrastructure providers on the XRPL like directly, because previously, like it's in so many discussions, right? It's always when you hear they talk about the ledger or technicalities. Oh yeah, let's ask David Schwartz. Yeah, I mean he's David Schwartz after all, right? But there are so many other people out there who are, in my opinion, for the direct impact with the ledger, are far more important than him personally. Like he's just an executive person, right now. He's not that involved, like let's say Nick Bugales or these infrastructure providers that run that stuff. So that's good that these people get more attention, 100%, because they flipped the switch actually. Yeah, but good to see you back, man. Egyptian, good to see you back. We're like Tony and me. We're like wondering, hey, and then Death and everyone
No,
else here. What's going on with Egyptian,
I
man?
love coming. I kept quiet because I wanna learn, because I feel like I missed a lot of things. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep my question till the end till I see what they say. So I'm just following, but from far away a little bit. Which is good. Sometimes it's good
Very good.
to like take some break, because sometimes a lot of information.
100%.
Yeah. So I feel like fresh, which is good.
I was surprised that you didn't went to maybe Apex or something, because you are in that region, right? Like you're
Yeah.
not so far away.
I'm like 5 hours driving away from Vegas, but
Oh, that's good.
I'm not that technical. You know what I mean? So it's what like most of the things that's gonna be said there, I won't be able to understand. Like I'm
No,
gonna wait for
nonsense.
to explain the AMM to me like 5 years old. Like I'm 5 years old, so that's my level of understanding. So, but I will wait for Karma when he get home and do all of his stuff, and then I'm pretty sure we're gonna ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think not many. I don't know, right? But I feel like many went there, even non-technical people. Like I heard like a lot of NFT people were there. Obviously, NFT projects were there.
Dude, most people in
Yeah.
general are not.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely, I would say 100%. Like also the presentation that like they had some technical parts, but there were most of them like bullet points, or they were showcasing something, like live demos and all that stuff, Q&As, and a lot of drinking.
A lot, yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of drinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like, even I don't want to see some people of the XRB community. I would rather to be away from them, because I don't want to tell them my opinion honestly, which I would. So I was like, it's not good to be, there for. I'm pretty sure some of the XRB community was there, the YouTubers.
You mean the influencers? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course they're there. They have to take their 589 pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I want to talk about, because I mentioned it before, like, when I was absent, the last time I was in a space, I said that, okay, what is the guy name? Vileli, I don't know. The guy who said $30,000 XRB.
Jimmy Valley.
Yes, he said in August there is something is gonna happen that's gonna make the feds ask the SEC to drop the case. Okay.
It was like a month ago already.
Yes, and nothing happened in August. So can please stop listening to this idiot? Can please, as XRB?
I mean, Egyptian. Go ahead, Death. Sorry.
That was like last month hype. You gotta wait for the next month's hype, all right, Egyptian?
Yeah, it's a new hype. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Egyptian. I friends of mine who are also community members here, they are way deeper in the rabbit hole. Like, I mean, it's stupid, right? But yeah, the Queen died. London is ready. Trigger and all that stuff. XRP's pumping now, and you're like, what the fuck?
Dude, I forgot about that. I forgot that the XRP community would make big deal out of this.
Definitely. Obviously.
Sorry for saying that. Okay, I forgot that I shouldn't say this. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I have a good friend. He always gives me like dates. He says like, yeah, the next important date is the what is the 15th of September. And wait. I always tell him like, yeah, what's the next date after it? Because just in case nothing happens like all the dates before.
They following this guy Baba Coog or whatever. What's his name?
Yeah, Baba Cugs.
Baba Cogs or something. I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, that's what it is. And it's funny, like there are some of the XRB accounts that actually they put videos and somehow they make it like black and white. You know what I mean? And you don't know what exactly is playing in the video, as if it's cryptic, you know. And people believe, like, people eat this crap, you know. I was like, oh my god, it's crazy. And I'm pretty sure because the queen died, yes, I'm pretty sure the XRB community is making big deal out of it now. Yes.
It's kind of part of the
really
culture, right? It's part of the XRPL culture, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the culture.
Yes.
I think it's pretty interesting, at least, that she is dead, because now it's the perfect time to pump it, I think.
Yeah, look, see Egyptian.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure, yes. Hey, I got used to this. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's okay. The
I mean,
XRB.
it's all good. Like, if people get excited about the legend and all that stuff, and I mean, hey, at some point, people will question.
Oh,
Hopefully.
I thought you were gonna say people get excited about the Queen Elizabeth's death. I was like, holy crap! Like,
Let's add this one to the mix. They were experimenting at CERN on dark matter, and now they're about to turn it off.
Yeah. I mean,
Time
look,
crystals, man. Let's get. No, I'm just fucking around.
No. Look. When they started that stuff and the experiment, I don't know, a couple months ago or something, then you know, also friends were like, "Oh yeah, we switched the timeline. Now this is the timeline where XRP is pumping," and now they're afraid we go back to the old timeline. I mean, what the fuck? Which timeline?
so the warning about California that they're gonna like shut down the grid or something like that.
Oh my god, dude.
Conspiracy?
No, that's not gonna. They're not gonna shut it down. Just all the ISOs are a bunch of friggin' assholes that like exploit the entire state. They burn down like billions of dollars worth of property and then say, oh, it's because of the heat and faulty, you know, maintenance of the lines, and then they make you pay more the next year for their own fire insurance. It's just the most ridiculous thing. So. Egyptian, I'm here in San Diego with you too, so
Diego.
I understand. You feeling this mugginess right now?
Yeah, it's really,
Feels
really
like Hawaii or something.
yeah. I've been in San Diego at like 3 years now. That's the most humid I ever felt in San Diego.
So apparently a lot of people saying that, yeah, they're going to turn it off and we're all not going to be able to, we're going to be without light for 10 days. And dude,
Yeah.
just people got carried away, man.
Yeah.
And it's always the people outside of Cali too.
Yeah, I know. People want to shit on Cali for some reason, and I don't know why. But anyway, it is what it is. And it's actually it's a big account. It's not just in like what's his name, the Zero Hedge account or something is called
Oh,
Zero.
Zero Hedge. Yeah.
Yeah.
He tweeted out something of like that we can't charge our mandated EVs, and I was like, what? Like, since when is it mandated, dude? And there's nothing that's been mandatory.
Yeah, like people are just spreading lies and running away with it, you know, as if it's fact, which
Yeah.
is it
So
makes
you have to put it into law to make it mandatory, which would take a vote.
Yeah, so with our energy grid, they don't have very good demand response incentives here. In the East Coast, they have a lot of this. They've been having it for like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, back when I like kind of first started getting into smart energy grid system stuff. But so their ISO would pay like large buildings, basically large businesses, to offset their power during call outs like this. And I worked with a company that was like doing automated on demand response to that call out, because the faster you could do it and the bigger the threshold you could reduce by, the more the incentive. But then on the West Coast, they had none of those programs. So just now, they're kind of starting to talk about implementing a lot more of this. So you get on a consumer level, you get what they call them, flash alerts. They're not flash alerts. They're flex alerts, like a flex in power or something like that. But that's when the consumers are supposed to do it. But likewise, they do a call out across the grid amongst all users, and then you can offset this with frequency regulation, which is you basically installing like huge battery like storage devices to offset these influxes of power, because with photovoltaics and wind power, you're getting inconsistent amounts of power. It's not a continuous flow. So that causes the instability of the grid just as much. So it's a whole process of adapting to higher demands, but also creating more microgrid technology to offset that.
I heard also if something happened in California because the power grid, it will impact other states. Is that correct?
Yeah, somewhat. It will definitely impact other states in terms of economically, but likewise, you could say the same thing about water. So we're going through a similar water crisis with the Colorado River and the Colorado drought out there. I mean, we get all of our water from the Colorado River. So if you think about it, we're all very much intertwined in our economic well-being within these states. And it is kind of state by state, though, how a lot of these things get decided in their rights and how they do flow. So more and more we're going to see like encroachment, desperation, business enterprises around this as it just gets worse and worse, because there's not quite enough like water supply and to accommodate with the droughts and yada yada yada. But you could also extract it from the air, but that's also very expensive energetically. So we're just getting to a point where it's worth it, I guess, economically.
It's actually free here in Florida. We're extracting a lot of water out of the air right now as I drive down the road.
Yeah, atmospheric water generation was another thing that I was kind of working on back in the day, and at that time, right, there wasn't enough kind of sustainable free energy to really produce enough, and it does need to be located in rather humid areas to be effective economically, unless it's a passive method. There are passive methods if it's humid enough. But again, if you're trying to produce thousands of gallons of water out of one machine per day, that thing needs to be, you're right, in like Florida, Hawaii. There were prototypes for like large facilities to build those in Hawaii.
It's pretty cool and definitely a necessity, especially when you have people like Nestle that's emptying out the Colorado River to sell the water other places.
Yeah, and there's quadrillions of gallons of fresh water in the air. Desalination is something also, but that's like really bad for the oceanic ecosystem, because what you're essentially doing is filtering out all the microorganisms and phytoplankton and all the good stuff that pretty much keeps the whole ecosystem alive. And then usually around desalination plants, there's like a miles of dead zones. You see this in the Middle East. A lot of their desal plants that have been running for a long time, churning out water, have huge like dead zone ecosystems around that. So it also is very expensive to keep up the mechanics and the filters, and also energetically expensive. So yeah, I agree. I think atmospheric water generation is the way to go. And the more I think if you start engineering that into the actual development of buildings, like you could design a building that essentially breathes in enough air that it could condense into water to feed that building, pretty much.
Let me ask you a question. So should we use the energy to mine Bitcoin or to generate water?
I mean, water 100%. If that's the choice, if those are the choices, then water for sure.
Really? I thought Bitcoin solves this.
Good,
No,
good
it,
analysis.
yeah.
These are the answers to the questions I ask all the time.
And I shared with you link yesterday from the White House about coin mining or cryptocurrency mining. You know, I didn't read it. Be honest with you, I just searched mining, and it was all full of mining. You know, so yeah, but I didn't read all of it. So it seems like the White House is actually looking into all of this stuff too.
You know what you could do is I've seen this, a Bitcoin miner that's a heater because of all the heat that it creates from the GPUs and stuff. So it was like literally a thermal heater for somebody's room. So you could technically take that heat conduction, create, you know, a condenser and make a water
Yeah.
filter from your Bitcoin miner probably.
Yeah.
My air conditioner went out. It was pulling 10 gallons of water a day out of the air. And we had to like siphon it off or else it would like flood up in the ceiling where the air handler was.
Holy shit, that's so much humidity. I can only imagine how funky that must have felt outside, but that's a lot of water. See, like that's significant. Like that's more than your family really would need, right? Like how many people do you have living with you?
Just on one side of the house and the other guy on the other. It's like a single family home. It's like a single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. He's got the 2-bath side. I got the 1-bath side. And I've got like a mini kitchen and he's got like a dirty kitchen.
Well, okay, I was not counting showers. If you kind of military style showered, like just hosed off real quick, then that would be enough water for you guys every day, you know, because you really only you need like a gallon of water drinking wise. Only a couple gallons, I guess, if you know, for showering and dishes and whatever else. So it's getting to that point, people. It's getting there.
You know what I find funny? Not funny, but interesting. This is just something that's been in the back of my head for years. There's a lot in finance. There's a lot of plumbing and water analogies. Think about it. You've got a pool of liquidity. You've got value flows. You've got, I don't know. If you start thinking about it, there's a lot of them. A lot of water analogies.
You know, ripple, right? Water ripples through through the mountain.
There you go, ripple.
Yeah, we definitely got a couple more minutes left of the space. If anybody has any questions in the audience, any subject matters about DLT based solutions, blockchain, anything that you guys are wondering, please feel free to come up, ask the questions. Or you can, you know, at the the bubble box bottom at the bottom right there, you could hit that and also type in your question if you guys don't feel comfortable coming up.
Yeah.
So
So
my
question.
sorry,
Yeah,
go on. There you go. Oh, I'll go.
Yeah.
My question is, who's going to hold the title of the first XLS20 NFT?
Oh,
Which project?
Oh,
I'm trying to. I'm gonna be sitting there till the second. You know it. We'll see who. I don't know. It's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna get at least one in there in the first 100. I hope. I don't know how fast people are gonna be able to.
Well,
it's gonna be funny.
I think if those projects are ready, they'll all have their finger on the button and they'll be counting it down to the split second, and they'll be trying to mint the very first one on the XLS20 standard, and hold that title. They don't give a fuck about the rest of them. They just want the title.
I'll take number 3. I'm cool. 3's my favorite number. So I'll take that.
All right, I'll be working. So I'm not even going to be struggling watching that.
I have.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Karma. Sorry.
I ran into the X-Punks last night, and I was going down to get a beer while I packed, and Matt Hamilton was down there. Matt was like, all of a sudden, he's sitting there by himself, and all of a sudden I walk in, and the X-Punks walk in, and another guy that I just said hi to him there, but I don't remember what he was working on. But they have onxrp.com. I think it's a .com. And they were talking about launching all, because they have tons of NFTs to put on, but they were going to try and batch them on so that they don't overload the ledger. Thought that was an interesting, good idea. I heard somebody say something about that earlier.
Yeah,
I'm
we've
gonna
been
batch
asking.
But I'm gonna put one batch in that's like certain ones that hopefully will be the first of their kind on the ledger, and then after that I don't care. You know?
Couple of dick butts, huh?
Possibly. You don't know.
Go ahead though, Rippleton.
Oh, I was just saying that we as infrastructure owners have been asking people just to be, aware of the impact of trying to fit a year's worth of NFTs into one day, and to be, just courteous of that fact. And most people have responded really positively, and are going to have a sort of a delayed dropping in of those NFTs, if you like to call it that, just to make sure it's a bit measured and not all rushing at the gates at the same time.
While at the same time, you asking who's the first one, huh, Rippleton? Is this how it's going?
Oh, look at yeah. So yeah, like some of
The
these
mind games.
Yeah, but some of these projects, they've got thousands of NFTs to mint, but there will be each and every project that is able to will be trying to get at least one minted in that first ledger that is available to them, and yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who holds the title of number one.
Hey, Rippleton, did
Yeah,
I
mate.
hear you say? Did I hear that you say that each hook is like 500 megabytes on the ledger?
Now let me have a look here. I don't think so.
No, it can't be right. That's not even feasible.
No. Yeah, and that's that's just not. Yeah, it's nothing that I've talked about anyway. Let me just have a look, but I'll come back to you on it.
I must have just misheard you. It was when I was hitting traffic, and because we were talking about splitting payments.
Yes.
And I was saying the rain is stopping. I'm driving out of it, really. If you put 4 hooks on one account, there's no way that can be. I thought I heard you say 2. Maybe you said 2 megabytes, but still, that's 500 bytes per hook.
Yeah, no, I didn't mention anything about megabytes.
Yeah, I think all he said was there's only 4 hooks per account.
Yeah, so basically I said hooks is a hybrid smart contract system where between 0 and 4 contracts live on a user account. That's it. They were the only numbers I used.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just didn't hear it right.
That's all right. That's okay. I'll bitch slap you later.
So Ripple, are you gonna mint your elephant? I think that would be iconic if it was that elephant. But I would also love whatever
my
you
elephant's
put it
ass.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
4 per account? That surely can't be right.
What's that?
Did you just say that hooks are limited to 4 per account? That can't be right, surely.
Yes. Yes, correct.
Oh my god, it gets worse. Fuck.
Why?
No, so I remember when I was watching Matt do the demo. He was talking about, they were saying like 7 or 8 per account. But you really think about it, if all those hooks have to execute between a ledger close, I mean, it's not a lot of time for that many executions to occur. So it kind of makes sense in my mind for it to only be 4.
Why can't they
That's why Ether charge by how long the compute estimate is, and you have to decorate your code with certain iterations so they can give you a fair price. If you can only have 4 hooks on an account, that's a... Oh, sorry, I'm a bit ignorant to this one, but that's not very good.
Well, it depends. So, like an EVM is an account on its own. So you're already at an advantage over an EVM.
But you can have you can effectively have chained hooks anyway. So I don't think the limitation really is much of a concern, right? Because I could have a
Correct.
hook that goes through in a wallet that has a hook that has a wallet that has a hook that has
Yeah.
a wallet. I'm not entirely
Correct.
sure what's the purpose of the limitation of 4.
I think it's really just so that all of the executions can execute in one ledger close, and so there's no question.
Oh, maybe, I guess.
If Rippleton, if you know better, though, maybe.
Well, yeah, basically. So I'm just reading out what Richard Holland, who is the principal architect of hooks, what he wrote, and he's quite definite in what he wrote. Hooks is a hybrid smart contract system where between 0 and 4 contracts live on a user account. That is quite a different thing to EVM contracts, which are on an account of their own and can't be installed on a user account. Hooks are asynchronous and can't be used for things like flash loans. They're not very well suited for DeFi, which generally requires access to synchronous contract-to-contract calls, something Hooks does not support. So, I don't know the reason behind why 4. There may be a specific reason for it that I don't know. I'll try and find out.
I guess it is probably to do with execution time, but the problem is one hook is not necessarily representative of a second hook, right? So I'm not entirely sure that's a safe way. The way that the other ledgers do it, like I say, you have to explicitly say what you think the iteration count will be, and they will give you a cost to run. Obviously, that's not how it works on this one.
I don't think of anyway. The stuff that I have thought of to use hooks for would be, I guess, asynchronous in a way. I achieve that through some other methods, but there are combinations with other functions the ledger does. But you can chain them together. So if you got one wallet with 4 hooks, and you can take that wallet and do 4 different things with 4 different wallets, and now you've got 4 wallets running 4 more hooks. So now you got 16 hooks running on the next ledger close, and I mean, all of a sudden you've done a lot, and you've only gone through 3 ledger closes.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily correct. I mean, there's not all that much you can do with a hook. You can accept a request, you can reject a request, and you can divert a request. If you need to do that on more than like 3 or 4 hops, I'm not entirely sure what it is you need to do. They're extremely limited. It's not like you can do any business logic in the hook. Right? You can't change much. You can just accept, reject, or divert, or change the request. Right?
But what Hooks does allow for Evernode is for Evernode to exist in a decentralized manner, and so when I think of Hooks, that kind of it correlates in my mind to allowing capabilities of Evernode to interact with the XRP ledger, and so that's kind of like my excitement behind Hooks. But yeah, you're right; it is very small logic function.
Other than sending you like emitted messages, what does it do for Evernode exactly? What's the use case?
It's like storage, kind of. is more than that. It's actually really cool. I couldn't explain it at the
No,
moment.
so I know what Evernode is. I'm just wondering what hooks would make
So,
better
so
Evernode. Sorry.
whenever you want to host a contract with Evernode, right? It would be centralized in the manner of you would have to pick one host, have that contract hosted with that particular, just that host. Then you would have to go out simultaneously and send a contract right to every single host if you wanted to have that contract that you wanted to have hosted up in a decentralized. And so hooks allow from a one-click format to be able to have that contract that you want hosted on Evernode to be hosted in on multiple nodes at once with one hooks transaction.
But can't a hook pretty much execute any transaction type on XRPL? Or
Yeah,
is there some
yeah,
transaction type?
no, it can execute anything that's in the layer one logic protocol that it could execute. Yeah, any of the functions.
So for those guys who want to have a read up, and there's some explanations and a lot of detail, and I don't know if you're aware of this site, but it's xrpl-hooks.readme.io.
Yeah,
So
that's what I read most of my stuff from. I was left a bit lacking, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, you're right, and there's definitely more information coming out in the near future, and over time, I would even say like a year ago from today, Evernote has already same thing with Flare, like everything has changed and it's grown so much from then, and I'm sure 9 months from now when hooks and maybe Evernote is more ready, it'll probably have a lot more documentation out and a lot more clarity on how everything is going to exist. But Too Cold, man, you've had your hand up so patiently for so long. I thank you. If you'd like to speak now, you're more than welcome.
Oh shit. My bad. Hello, can y'all hear me? My bad.
You're good.
Am I so off of hooks, so I wanted to ask Neil, I'm glad he's in here. Because you guys were talking about the first to mint, right? So how is that process gonna go for the pre-minted, right? Like, do we need to do anything? Do we need to sign anything already, or like how's that gonna go on your end? Because I think you and Combat Kanga and Yanniverse are already pre-minted, and like, what do us who have the pre-minted NFTs, what do we have to do on our side?
I think that's probably a bit of a different conversation to the hooks. Sorry, is this? I joined it and just got involved in the hook conversation. Is this a more general?
Yeah.
Forum, is it?
Oh, so
it was a question I asked before about come D-Day when XLS20 goes live, which project's going to take the title of being the first to issue an NFT on XLS20.
Oh, okay. Well, I can explain what I'm going to do. If you want to hear that, I guess that's what Two Gold just asked.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to hear too, because you have a lot of experience in this.
All right. Well, funnily enough, I was literally just until 5 minutes ago. I decided to put down my code and join a Spaces call. But I was just testing the process. So, yeah. So I'm actually quite interested to see what other projects do. Not that I'm going to divert the question. I am going to answer it. But I'm interested to see what other projects are going to do, because I know the process has how I am going to implement it. I'm not entirely sure other projects are quite sure about how they're supposed to implement it, but essentially the way that we're going to do it on Combat Kanga, there's going to be two ways to mint your NFTs. So first and foremost, we've already done the pre-minting, of which has been, I think if you measure it against other like metrics, I think it's going to be a good success, right? So we've nearly pre-minted 35% of the entire token supply now. So of the 8,000 that were available to buy over 2,000, nearly 3,000 have been pre-minted. So that leaves not many on the decks at all for people to actually buy that aren't being sold by someone that doesn't want to pre-mint it. So what we're doing with all those is we're giving people the option, because we have a marketplace where you can actually sell or trade your pre-minted kangas already, right? So if you've got a kanga you want or you don't want, you can put it on the marketplace and you can sell it already. And what that will do is it will basically reissue that same kanga to a different account. Now, when it comes to the actual minting, we're going to do two things. Hopefully on Monday or Tuesday, just early, we're going to give you the option to say, these are the ones of all of the kangas that I've pre-minted, these are the ones that I want you to go ahead and mint. Just go and mint them. That's what we will do. For everything else, they're just going to stay in limbo. So what the actual process will be is, if you want to mint your kanga, you can literally say mint. What the process then will do is it will go to the ledger. It will mint the kanga into our wallet, which is where all of the kangas are minted. But then it will show you a barcode in order to accept a transfer of that minted kanga to your wallet. Now, what does that mean? It's actually quite complicated. So firstly, we will get your kanga and we will mint it on the ledger. That will be minted into our account. We will then secondarily create an offer. The offer is only valid to the owner of that kanga. The offer will be for 0 XRP. It will then create an accept offer to your wallet, which you can then scan as a barcode in Zum. So the entire process will be A, minting the asset, B, creating a 0 cost offer to your wallet only, and no one else can accept that offer but you. C, or 3, you then accept the offer to go and basically buy that NFT for 0 XRP. That's how we're doing it. Now, if you have opted to mint or pre-mint all of these things because you've said, these 5 kangas I've already got, these 10 kangas I've already got, whatever it might be, I just want you to go ahead and mint them. What you'll get greeted is the same as if you had done it in a one-on-one sort of, mint on demand sort of basis. So when you go to the minting page, you'll see there's 25 you can claim. So to re-describe the process again in like the user, how the user would see it, they would see a load of kangas. Some of them they could claim because they've already been minted on the chain, or they could mint them. If they mint them, then it will refresh to a claim state. Then they can claim that mint. And only the owner of the NFT can claim it for free. So you could sell that with a claim on the marketplace, and then the new owner could claim it for free. I know that sounds a bit confusing, but that's because we've got a hybrid of pre-minted and non-minted kangas. But you could actually still sell a kanga that has been minted by me or the project, but has not been claimed by you. You can still sell that on the market as a normal pre-minted kanga. Once it's been minted and it's in your wallet, however, the only way you can sell that on our marketplace is by a brokered sale, and that's essentially the only and best way to sell things on Ledger. So once you've minted it and you've claimed it, then it's a brokered sale. Apologies if that's really wordy and it was a bit long. It's quite technical, and website will make it feel a lot easier, I promise. But that's kind of the detail of how it works.
No, thank you for going into that over your project. It's perfect timing, right at that 5:30 mark, guys. I really thank everybody for coming today to the space, especially everybody who comes up and is a speaker. This information is just valuable not only to me but to everybody who listens to this in the future in the community and to the entire space. But I love everybody. Everybody should know none of the speakers. This is not financial advice. None of the speakers are representations of ledgerscale. And I hope to see everybody next week, Monday, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and love you guys.
just want everybody to know this conversation's been going 80 miles an hour.
Good on you. Hey, thanks, guys. Talk later.
Great chat. Thank you, everybody, for coming.